Hello everybody and welcome to Fat Buddha Fitness. I am ChesterMonkeyMagic, as you all already know, but I like to introduce myself nonetheless. Now, given that my hiking videos are becoming increasingly popular, I've decided to bring you a new one. And this time it is in northern Spain, in a place called Las Medulas, an old Roman mine. Las Medulas, very beautiful place, famous in these parts and well liked by the Spanish tourists who know it very well. Don't see quite so many foreign tourists coming here though. Nonetheless, it's a great place to go for a walk, for a hike, whatever it is that you like to do. And it's also right next to a part of the Camino de Santiago, the part known as the Winter Trail. Anyway, I'm just getting outside under the bright blue skies into the sunshine and getting ready to set off. So here is my hiking Las Medulas video. Look how steep that is, all the way down here. And down it goes, even some more, and you sort of come out down there. Not sure I'm going to be able to climb up that though, but I'm going to go into that cave over there. It's difficult to get a good impression of a cave when you're looking at it on a camera, but it's just look down here. Some helpful steps. Well, let's look. There are. There's the walls going right up there. There's a little looking hole. So anyway, here we go. Now you can actually go right up there and over the other side and down, and then it gets very dark. They deliberately collapsed these cliffs or hills so that they could get to the gold that was buried deep down inside the, I suppose you'd call it clay really. It's a technique they used whereby, there, I don't know if you can see there's a little tunnel that leads out to the edge. Technique they used whereby they dug down in little channels and then filled it with water, and when it overflowed with water basically made the cliffs collapse. Here's how they show you how they did it. There's that little looking spot, and then it goes down here around, and we end up going around to another cave. And so here's the other cave. Look up there. Goes right up and round. And back down. And again through here. There's not really much happening. It just goes through there. Rather interestingly though, somebody's filming here. And they're off there in the woods, under there, doing something. So we'll keep going there. That's where I just climbed up to. Path sort of peters out when you get to the top. You can't really go any further unless you want to go over the edge. But stunning place. Sun's on the wrong side at the moment, but let's keep going. Just look at these structures. Actually, those ones, they're not natural, in the sense that what happened was these big lumps of clay or mud came about by the exploding or the crumbling of the cliffs next to them, and then the washing away of the surface mud to try and get to the gold underneath. And what it did was it just created a build-up of mud that turned into these rather peculiar looking cones almost. Quite apart from being 2,000-year-old Roman mine site, Las Medulas is quite simply a beautiful and secluded part of the world up here in Galicia. And it's great for going hiking, walking, rambling, trekking. It's all the same thing to me. And it's great exercise because there's barely a flat meter anywhere. And like right now, it's going up very steeply. Can't really get a great perspective, but there behind me, well, it's difficult on this little camera to see exactly how steep something is, but trust me, it's steep, and it's about to get steeper. But anyway, if you ever get the chance to make your way over to this corner of the world, then definitely stop off a few days in Las Medulas. Well recommended. And although it's a tourist site, hardly seems to be anybody there. It's a tiny little village. A great part of it seemingly collapsing. People have moved away to the big cities, I imagine, left their houses behind, and their stone houses are turning to rubble. But there is some accommodation over here. I'm in one hotel. There's also B&Bs and whatnot. And like this, if you like the quiet life, like to get away from the crowds and all that. Look at it. Nobody around except me at the moment. I've passed a few people along the way, but only a handful. And if there hadn't been the film crew there earlier, I'd have seen less than 10 people so far. Anyway, it's really steep. Let's keep on going. Just look at that view. Incredible. It's impossible unless you've got a seriously good camera to do this justice. Just want you to see a little bit of a path that I'm on here. Very tricky. Barely a path at all. Just sort of goes off into this shrubbery down here. There's another little path over there, or maybe that's this one a bit further along. Got to be very careful when going on such paths. It's not very flat, it slopes off to the side. It's really barely a path at all. But great fun if you're the adventurous type. Another little thing, earlier I said we were in Galicia. I made a mistake, we're now in Castile and Leon. At some point we went across the border and I didn't pay enough attention to notice. But Galicia's just down the road, not very far away. Gosh, look at this descent. And anyway, Spain is made up of a lot of former little kingdoms or princedoms, principalities even, who were all squabbling with each other at one point in time, or over many points in time. They still are to a certain extent, what with places like Catalonia wanting their independence. And it rather helped the Moorish invasion in the 8th century, because whilst all the little kingdoms and fiefdoms and whatnot were squabbling with each other, it made it easier for the Moors to invade, and the little principalities didn't realise the danger they were eliciting by, slippery here, by some of them even asking for the help of the Moors to defeat their neighbours. And of course the Moors weren't just there to lend a helping hand, they were there to invade, and bit by bit various kingdoms asked for their help in defeating a neighbour, and it was the Moors who occupied the neighbouring land after the victory over them, and then eventually turned on their former allies and occupied them too. And they swept up through practically the whole of Spain in very quick time. Even ended up sweeping into France and invading all the way up to Tours. There you can see behind me, that I think is the regular path, and I'm on this one. Far less regular, far less worn, but much the more enjoyable for it. Anyway, so the Moors swept up into France, where the great Charles Martel, Charles the Hammer, defeated them. I think, if I can show you this, I had to go along there and into that cave, and perhaps into that one over there as well. Let's go. Yes, Charles Martel, I think the grandfather of Charlemagne, another great Frankish leader, defeated the Moors, actually somewhere in between Poitiers and Tours, in a big open field. And the battle is variously known as the Battle of Poitiers or the Battle of Tours. It doesn't really matter, as you prefer. And Charles Martel, Charles the Hammer, smashed the Moors and knocked them out of France altogether, back into Spain, while Galicia resisted invasion. The Moors did occupy the vast majority of Spain and parts of Portugal as well. And for that defeat by the Frankish leader meant that their seemingly invincibility was, oh, that was a little snake, just disappeared in there, very quick. Oh, no, he's still there somewhere. Oh, there. Not sure that is a snake. Yes, it is. Oh, I don't know. It's a weird little, don't know how well you can see that. No, he's got legs. Yes, it ended the aura of invincibility that the Moors had, and little bit by little bit the Spanish managed to reorganize themselves and fight back and reconquer, the Reconquista, reconquer their lands and drive the Moors out of Spain once and for all and back into North Africa. And then, of course, like all good empires, they're not really an empire, the Spanish, all good tribes or whatnot in the Dark Ages or Middle Ages, they did, well, it's not that interesting at all, is it? Nothing in there. They did what any good, oh gosh, this is going to be tricky, any good victor would do, and they proceeded to, well, after getting rid of the Moors, gosh, that is steep. Whose idea was this? I think I'm going to be able to go up there though. Guess I can go up round here. Let's have a look if this is easier at all. Yes, anyway, they decided to go on a murder spree, and no, don't think that's, possibly. There's a path that goes up round there. Let's give this one a go. Murder spree, ridding Spain of its Jewish and Muslim population, forcing, first of all they forced everybody, oh, a nice little cave there, forced everybody to convert, and then suspecting the newly converts of not being sincere in their faith, funny enough given that they were just forced at the point of a spear into converting, they decided to kill them or drive them out. Such was the way in those times. Anyway, I shall put this down because this is quite tricky. The sun is out and just look at those colours. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, very nearly there now. We'll go up there in a minute. But let's first of all make our way along here. A beautiful orange colour of the, well, I describe that as clay myself. Mud, clay, whatever you want to call it. Rather stunning. More little nooks and crannies here. You have to be careful around here. Apparently they do have falling rocks from time to time. And in places they don't seem to have the rope to help steady yourself. Yeah, these little nooks, perfect for bears or snakes or something. When you follow the regular path down there and sort of around there, that's where you'd come up. I could have opted to go down that little path over there. I didn't in the end. So we get to here, and well, there's not much point me having this on because you're not going to be able to see anything. I'll put the light on maybe. Not going to make much of a difference. That goes that way. Let's go this way a bit. We can go this way a bit. I don't know how much you can see. Oh, I can no longer see a thing. Don't think that really has anything of any interest. No, it seems to be dead end. Right, so back out we come. Ooh, that was nice. And we'll follow on back around there. Here another stunning view of Las Medulas. And over there, that's where I was on that viewing point over there. Now I've come, you can just see the caves down there. Come up this tiny little path here, which goes on up here. And it's a very thin path at certain points. Here it's not so bad, but for vertigo sufferers like my good self, I'm allowed to say my good self I think, these thin paths quite scary. Anyway, there you can see a little old town. My hotel must be there somewhere. Can't really make out exactly where from here. There's the Lago di... oh, I forget what it's called. I'll have to look that up. Lake I shall be going to later. This must be the actual viewing point here. There, look at that. Beautiful. That was an enjoyable 2-hour hike in great weather as well, it must be said. Really did make the most of it. There was a large amount of climbing up, climbing back down, sometimes some quite steep slopes. It's all good for the legs and burns off a lot of calories, and I think it was about 480 meters of difference in height along the course. So if you imagine climbing 480 vertical meters, that's got to be quite tough. That's what we did on that 2-hour hike. Next up though, I'm going to show you some other little places. There I did one loop around the viewing points of Las Medulas. There's obviously in this area of Castile and Leon a lot of other trails and opportunities for hiking, trekking, rambling, clambering, whatever it is you like. So what I'll do is I'll set off over the next few days on a few of these other paths, exploring a few other areas, and I'll show you all a little bit of that. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you will enjoy what else is to come. And I'm of course ChesterMonkeyMagic. This is Fat But of Fitness. Let's see what Castile and Leon has to offer us.